a base of action. Green group, stay across the holding sector of each other.
Admiral, we have enemy ships in Sector 47.
It's a trap.
Fighters coming in.
There's too many of them.
The shield is down. Corvettes attack on the Death Star's main reactor.
We're on our way. Red group, gold group, all fighters follow me. I told you they'd do it.
Hello, welcome back to another stream from Tachyon Lance. Today I'm going to be looking at some fleet combat testing in the 3.6 beta, just to see how different ships compare to each other and different fleets compare to each other. And so we can actually get some hard data on how the ships are performing. So let's dive in and have a look. Okay, so first up what we've got is we've got a fleet of battleships versus a fleet of frigates. So you can see the firepower of these battleships is significantly more than the frigates, although the frigates outnumber the battleships. So the ship designs are like this. So the battleships are pretty standard. Giga cannons, level 2 artillery, shields and armor. It's all artillery range, all standard stuff, nothing out of the ordinary there. The frigates, let's look at the ship design. Frigates are equipped like this. We've got some long range missiles instead of energy weapons, as someone pointed out to me yesterday, that these will be more effective, and they will be at the range when you're dealing with energy torpedoes which are also firing at range. We've fitted in as much as we can with the energy levels we've got. It's only got level 3 shields because that's all we could fit in, level 1 afterburners, and it's got the artillery range on it, so it should be a long range duel. So this is basically just to see how this will pan out. It's just a test to see how well the frigates will do against the battleships, if they'll wreck them big time with their bonuses to their torpedoes, or will the battleships own the frigates. So the actual cost of these two fleets, the frigate fleet was about 2,000 alloys more. It's about 18,000 versus 16,000 alloys. So let's see who will win. We'll put this on nice and
Alert.
slow.
Science unit engaged. Hostile fleet assets engaged.
So the battleships are opening up the artillery. Frigates are taking losses. Here we go. Frigates' first volley coming in. So frigates have lost a third of their fleet. Nearly lost half. The battleships are only taking damage to shields and armor. One battleship's down. Two battleships down. Looks like most of the frigates are going down though. Okay, so that looks like a clear victory for the battleships. Even though the battleships were heavily outnumbered, the frigates, even though they had 60 versus 10, could not get the job done in terms of firepower. Although there is a lot of damaged ships around. Some of them aren't very damaged at all. There's some few heavily damaged ones. So the battleships could have probably taken on a much larger fleet of frigates. So we'll have to see how they do in the next test. Okay, so in this test, we've now got 90 frigates versus 10 battleships. Now these 90 frigates, it's another 9,000 alloys to build 30 more of these frigates. So we've got 27,000 alloys versus 18,000 alloys. So let's see how this goes.
Alert. Science unit engaged. Hostile fleet assets engaged.
Okay, this looks like a bit better going out for frigates with more numbers. Still lost 20 frigates. Battleships look like their shields and armor going down quicker. They're down 2 battleships, 3, 4, 40 Corvettes are down. Okay, half the battleships.
Alert. Science unit offline.
It could still be close. Oh no, there we go. Fleet's ended. Battle's ended. Okay, so in sheer numbers, the battleships were overwhelmed that time. But in terms of alloys, this fleet is significantly more expensive to build, and they pretty much lost 2/3 of their fleet, which is nearly 18,000 alloys worth of frigates. And that's about the cost. The cost of those battleships was 16,000. So if every battleship was lost, it's probably about an even exchange, roughly. But huge numbers of frigates were needed. So this was just trying to demonstrate the amount of how effective the torpedoes are versus the battleships at longer range with their artillery. So we can see that, yeah, the frigates are effective, but they take horrendous losses when they don't have any protection. So that was just a stand-up fight to see how effective frigates are. And you can see you need quite a lot of frigates to be effective, and they do lose a lot of numbers. All right, so let's test something else. Okay, now what we've got a fleet of cruisers, 16 cruisers, versus the fleet of 10 battleships. Now the 16 cruisers are the same cost in alloys as the battleships. They're both fleets of 17,000 alloys in cost. So you can have a look at the ship designer. Now we're using the energy torpedoes and a long range setup here. Same as the frigates, just it's a larger ship type, and we've put as much on as what the energy requirements would allow. So let's have a look and see how these two fleets do. Just so you know, the commanders are exactly the same as well. There's no benefits, there's no edicts on it either. It's just a straight up fight.
Alert. Construction unit engaged.
The battleships are unloading artillery, cruisers are firing all their torpedoes. Looks like there could be overfiring at a target, is it? Cruisers, yep, so battleships lost 1, cruisers are down 2. Cruisers are taking losses, so the battleships. So clear win to the battleships. The battleships only lost 3 losses. The cruisers lost their entire fleet. So I think what we can see here is that torpedoes with their long range weapons, the energy weapons, unless they've got screening ships, other ships to take the hits for them, they are vulnerable. They're very vulnerable, and they're going to take a lot of losses. So effectively, how much do the battleships cost here? These battleships cost 1,700 alloys. So that was what, about 5,000 alloys lost, and 17,000 alloys of cruisers have been destroyed. So the clear victory to the battleships on that occasion. So, but obviously torpedo vessels are never designed to be used alone in a fleet. But this is just to try and symbolise the damage. But at least they are inflicting a lot of damage on the enemy fleets. So we'll do another test in just a minute. Okay, so we've got a cruiser fleet, 16 cruisers versus the same battleship design. However, this cruiser design has got the Devastator torpedoes. and the close-in weapons. So we'll see what happens here. They've also got the torpedo combat computers to charge in. I didn't upgrade the shields, unfortunately. I don't know why it does level 3. The auto design just put level 3 on some reason. I forgot to change it, so we'll see how they go. If it's a failure, then I'll redo it. But we'll see how these cruisers go and see what the close range combat looks like. Okay, so the battleships are opening up. Cruisers are still charging in. Cruisers are taking on some losses. Shields are going down. Shields are hammering. Now they're opening up with their torpedoes. Oh, one battleship gone. Oh, multiple battleships. Oh, look at that. 5 down. In a blink of an eye. Now the cruisers are swarming around. The next volley of the torpedoes has gone off. You can see the battleship health is very low.
Alert, construction unit offline.
So that was a massive victory to the cruisers there. Absolutely devastating attack from the cruisers. They lost 3 ships and 10 battleships have been destroyed. That was just utterly devastating. So you can see battleships need protection against these type of cruisers with devastator torpedoes. That was ruthless. In terms of loss, so that's 17,000 alloys gone for ship losses of, what's this, 848, so 3 ships. So what's that, 2,500 alloys versus 17,000. So that was just spectacular. And these ships were missing their tier 5 shields. They had tier 3. The battleships were upgraded, so could have even done better. So keep that in mind. That was absolutely roof. I wasn't expecting results so bad. So I knew the cruisers were good. That's why I did that video yesterday on the cruiser could be the new meta for ship combat. And I think that at least one-on-one just showed how devastating the cruisers can be. Because you can see that the shields and armor tanked all that damage big time, whereas they put out all that damage through that first volley of devastator torpedoes, just obliterated half the battleship fleet in the blink of an eye. All right, I think that was very convincing. I want to see how the frigates go. Okay, so for this fight, we've got 60 frigates, but these ones are your ones devastator torpedoes, just like the cruisers we had. This fleet is about 14,500 alloys to build. There's no commanders on either of the fleets, so just don't leave the commanders off because it's just a straight up fight. Same design battleships we had before. So we'll see how the battleships go against these frigates.
Alert, station engaged.
Okay, so battleships have opened up. Frigates are charging in as they're meant to. Unloading their first wave of torpedoes. There we go, one battleship's down. Oh! They just lost 5 more in a blink of an eye. They lost a third of their fleet. Another volley of devastator torpedoes will probably finish the job. Yeah, looks like it's all over for the battleships. Ah, yep, another smashing victory. So the main difference between the two fleets of frigates and cruisers was a devastator torpedo. That was the main difference, and charging into point blank range. So the frigates lost a third of their fleets. They lost a third of 14,000 alloys. So what's that about? 4,500 alloys, and the battleships were 18,000 alloys gone. So very effective. Okay, now what we've got a fleet of 160 Corvettes versus a well-balanced fleet of various ship classes, and I'll show you what the fleets are here. So this is just a standard Corvette fleet, and I'll show you the design in a second. And this is a mix of 30 Corvettes, 7 Devastator frigates, Devastator torpedoes, 7 energy frigates, energy torpedoes. I've got 7 PD destroyers, even though I don't think the Corvettes have any missiles, but there's PDs there in case, and 7 normal destroyers. We've got 7 Devastator class cruisers and 7 energy class cruisers and 4 battleships that you've seen. So the Corvette design is just your standard close in, good brawler type vessel, fast, nimble. We'll see how they go. Huge numbers versus a balanced fleet. Although this fleet, I'm not sure, is optimized to fight this fleet. This fleet is optimized to fight bigger ship fleet. Lots of torpedo ships in there. So let's see what happens. Comes the swarm. Fleets are opening up, firing all their long-range weaponry. Cruisers, corvettes closing rapidly. Oh, they didn't lose many at all. Well, it's not looking good for the big, well-balanced fleet. Yeah, I think the Corvettes are going to win this one pretty easily. Yeah, it's all over.
Alert. Fleet unit offline.
Okay, so you can see there that even a well-balanced fleet, it wasn't optimized to fight small fleets. It was optimized to fight bigger fleets. So it's about knowing your enemy, who you're fighting against. If your opponent's got lots of small ships like that, and you're not equipped to deal with it, you're going to be in trouble, as that clearly showed. The in terms of alloys, the other fleet was much more expensive. It had lots of cruisers, battleships, destroyers. So even though this one had more firepower. Okay, that was interesting. Okay, so this time we've still got the same Corvette fleet versus a fleet which has more brawler type ships in there. We've got, I've still got the frigates in there. So they've still got their energy torpedoes and devastator torpedoes, but I took out the PD destroyers. We've got 14 brawler type destroyers. And I took out the energy cruisers and torpedoes. So I've just got 14 brawler type ships, and I'll show you the design. So the brawler type destroyers is something like that, just close in weapons type stuff, and the brawler cruiser is like this. It's got a long range artillery to smack them at range, and then some close in weapons to deal out some punishment. And we'll see how these long range weapons go. Let's see what happens. Cruisers, Corvettes are losing more ships faster a little bit that time. Still looking pretty good for the Corvettes though. Looking like another decisive victory for the Corvette. All over. So the Corvettes suffered a bit more losses, but nothing really that decisive. Alright, back to the drawing board. Okay, this time what we've got is I've designed destroyers a little bit different. I've changed up the cruisers to be more medium weapons and to be more brawler types, and we've added in carrier battleships. So just going to have a look at the designs. We've got carrier battleships. We've got 3 lots of advanced strike craft on there, and a bunch of other weapons here to help. The cruisers I've changed into medium weapons and trying to give a bit more tracking and firepower, variety of weapons there. The destroyers have also, I've added in some lasers and we've changed a few shields around. So we'll see if this is any more effective against the mighty Corvette swarm. Okay, you can see the fighters have launched from the carriers. They're engaging the Corvettes now. Just taking the shields down a bit. Corvettes are taking more damage, it looks like, this game. Taking more numbers, but we're still taking losses here. Doesn't seem to be as lopsided though. Corvettes are taking more losses. Looks to be a lot more even. In fact, the Corvettes could be losing now. Very close. Ooh, it's a close run fight. Or maybe the Corvette's still going to get there. The numbers are telling. So they have taken a huge amount of damage. Oh, their numbers are dropping quick. Oh, I think it's a clear win for the other fleet this time. And the Corvette swarm has been destroyed. There you go. A win for the balanced fleet. So I think the main difference there was the carrier battleships, because their fighters were constantly dealing damage the whole time. And if you have a look at them, 100% shield penetration. So they're going right through the shields of those Corvettes and damaging them. You can see that throughout the battle. You can see their hull points going way down, and that's why they lost so many towards the end there and just dropped so quick, because the fighters, strike craft, had done their job. And then you had the brawler type ships. They were just constantly pounding away, and they had more hit points and armor. So, and I'm sure you guys can come up with better ship designs than I can. I'm just throwing some ship designs together and testing it out. So that was very effective. I quite like that. So no battleships lost. So carriers stayed intact, which is good. They stayed survived the fight, which as they should. Cruisers, what did we have? We had about 14, so we lost 5. So we lost mostly destroyers and Corvettes. So I guess that's pretty good. We've kept the core of our fleet, and most of the screens took the damage. So that was pretty good. I like that one. Okay, for this battle, it's a little bit different. I've got 20 battleship carriers versus 160 Corvettes. I just want to have see how effective these strike craft can be. So I don't expect the carriers to win, but I just want to see how much damage they can cause. Okay, they're doing better than I thought they would. Corvettes are losing a lot of ships. They're losing carriers now. Lost 3. Corvettes have lost over a third of their fleet. They're taking a look at the hull damage go down. Armor damage. Carriers have still got their shields and armor. Oh, this is going to be a clear victory, I think, for the carriers. Look at that. Oh, it's an annihilation. They just got obliterated. Wow, I was not expecting that result. Holy moly. Those strike craft kicked butt. Well, there you go. There's your counter for the Corvette swarm. People are going to spam you with Corvettes. There's your counter. Bang. No problem. Spam them with strike craft. They rip those Corvettes to pieces. That was really interesting. I thought the Corvettes would win that one. So that was that shows you how effective the strike craft are now. Okay, I think I might do one more test. Okay, so what we've got here now is a well-balanced fleet versus a station with lots of defense platforms. The design of defense platforms is just pretty standard. Some kinetic batteries on one, some strike craft on another, and a mix of torpedoes on the other. So the station's probably got the advantage here, I would think, but you never know. We might need a heavier fleet to engage this, so we'll just try this out and see how we go. There we go, station's opened up with maximum range. Look at that. This fleet's going to get wrecked, I reckon. And they're coming in, they're opening up now.
Alert, military station deconstructed. Alert, military station deconstructed. Alert, military station deconstructed. Alert, military station deconstructed. Alert, military station deconstructed.
I think it's pretty convincing.
Alert, military station deconstructed.
Yeah.
Alert, military station deconstructed. Alert, military station deconstructed. Alert, military station deconstructed.
Haven't even got through the whole
military
point yet.
station deconstructed.
Took out most of the defense
Alert,
platforms.
military station deconstructed. Alert, military station deconstructed.
Still didn't get through the armor. Battleships are hanging on. Know what's going on there. It's a bit. I don't know why the torps and kinetic batteries weren't firing. Okay, so clear victory for the station with that one. Okay. Okay, so for this one, we've got our good old friends, the Devastator Torpedo Cruisers, or what I like to call the new ship meta. This design here. Now, this design you could probably improve and make better. This is just, I've just thrown it together because I think it's pretty good. So let's see how it goes against the same station, and see if they can win or not. Now they've got to close really close to get into effective. They're tanking the damage. Lost a couple cruisers. They've lost 5. They're opening up now. Here they go. They're firing. Oh, they've lost like more than a third of their fleet. Oh, they're getting owned. There you go. See? Even a really good ship design, or powerful ship design like that, when they go one-on-one against the battleships, they wreck them, but against a combination station that had torpedoes, long-range weapons, strike craft, the fleet fails. So I think the lesson here is that well-balanced fleets and defense stations seem to be really, really good in this game, in this 3.6 beta. So I think that's the lesson learned here, that if someone coming at you with just lots of frigates or corvettes, you can beat them with lots of strike craft, no problems, and a well-balanced fleet. Same with the stations. Someone coming at you with lots of cruisers or battleships, they're probably going to get wrecked. You need those smaller craft to run interference and take up the damage and shots and evade those shots. And yeah, so Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that like button if you have. I'll be doing some more combat testing and playing around with things. If you've got some ideas you want to send me, send them through. Suggestions or different combinations you want me to try out and make a video about, send them through and I'll do my best. All right, see you next time.